And welcome to another episode of recruits.ca on the Recruits YouTube channel. I'm your host, Blain Pudvey. You can also find me on Habs Unfiltered. I'm joined now by owner, operator, writer, and Hatadista, Grant McCagg.
Oh, Adanista. Yeah, that's me.
Well, you're sporting the beautiful Expos cap that I'm quite
Yeah.
jealous of.
Well, my next door neighbor there, he buys Coors Light, and apparently they used to come in them. So he said, "Here, I got a couple extra of these." And I said, well, I'll take them. Uh, I figured, the streak with the Habs cap hasn't been going too well, so I figured I'd wear, you know, Montreal sport team that made, I think the last one to win a game was the Expos. So I figured I'd wear one of their caps.
Yeah. It makes me wonder what's going to come out next. It's just like
Yeah,
I
I
don't have that many hats.
I don't have any soccer hats, I gotta say.
Do they sell soccer hats?
I think so, but not they don't have any Montreal Impact in Ottawa, that's for sure.
I don't think there's any more in Montreal Impact anywhere.
Maybe.
Now, today's episode, we're going to cover a little bit of news that has happened today, and that is Gianni Fairbrother signed his entry level contract. The left-handed defenseman just finished his amateur tryout contract with the Laval Rocket. He has been returned to his junior club. The co-captain of the Everett Silvertips is now back out west, and he has just signed. So why don't you walk us through a little bit of what you saw when he was in Laval and what we could expect?
Yeah, I was very, very happy with that signing. Been touting it for the last couple of weeks, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I even asked my very first press conference. That was the first question I asked Joel. Said, "You gonna, what the if Mark asked you whether you should sign this guy, what would you say?" And he said, "Well, it's not up to me, the old standard answer." But then he went into you know, a long description of why he would, if asked. And every coach that I've ever talked to about Gianni just talks about how much character he has. He's a throwback. Um, Rob Ramage said the same thing. Like this guy's should have played in the '80s or '90s. He'll stick up for teammates. He's tough. He can fight. He'll drop the gloves. He'll protect his teammates. Kind of like a Brady Kachuk type guy that stood up for Stutzel the other night. Well, that'll be Gianni in a couple of years in Laval. There'll be a young kid, maybe Caulfield even next year if he's playing a bit. And I mean, I expect him to be on the halves, but if he isn't, Gianni will be the first one in there to stick his nose in if somebody tries to run him. So I think there's a place for those types of guys. You need a couple of guys like that in your organization, and that's not to take away from his skill level either. He's got some skill, decent skater, really good shot. He can move the puck, so there's a lot of potential there to be a third pairing defenseman. Whether it's on the Canadiens or not remains to be seen because they've drafted so many good prospects in the last four drafts. I was mentioning that today that there's 4 third-round draft picks alone that are all legitimate prospects now. Fleury, Johnny, as you call him, Norlinder, and Harris are all, I think, can have the potential to play in the NHL. And for the Canadiens to draft 4 guys in the third round with that potential over a 3-year period, that's the scouting has really picked up in recent years, I think, and that's very impressive.
Now, does that have something to do with the fact that they've had so many picks as opposed to the very few they had before that?
I think so, and partly to do with just an evolving staff. Trevor, like any of us, the longer you are at a job, the more you learn and the better you become at it. And I mean, Shane Churla was a great ad a few years back, and I think he he helped influence the scouting staff and Trevor as well. You learn off other people, and the staff has gotten better and better over the past decade, and it's just it's part of an improving staff, and of course having more picks. I mean, between 2008 and 11, they had 7 picks in the top 90, and the last 4 years they've had 19. Well, you're gonna get more players. It's just simple math tells you that. So uh, kudos to Bergevin for finally doing the retool the right way. Unlike Gainey and Savard before that, and then Gauthier, they all traded high picks for quick fixes so the club could make the playoffs, but they were never serious contenders in those years. So I think I think Bergevin is doing it right in that sense, and it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, with so many left-handed defensemen now in the system, this signing, it seems like there won't be a lot of space left for some of them when they come up. So, what would you expect for Bergevin and company to do with that windfall?
Well, I think the plan will probably be to play a couple guys on the right side. Like they're already doing that. Excuse me, with Romanov. So Norlinder's played a pile on the his offside, and so has Harris. So I think you'll see at least one of them play on the other side. There'll be a couple of them that probably spend 2 or 3 years at least in the AHL because there'll be no spot for them. And eventually, they'll get into the lineup and they'll become good assets, and a couple will probably be moved at some point. You know, may the best man win, and you move the other assets for holes that you have in other positions.
Now, the ones that they've been picking, these defensemen that they're targeting, you've mentioned several of them. It seems that the one common trait amongst all is their skating ability. Do you find that to be true?
Yeah, they're all very good skaters, and I think that's important in today's game. Um, when you speak about Trevor evolving as a head scout, I think you look back at the Tenorti uh, draft pick and how the game changed since then, and he looked at it and said, okay, you're not necessarily looking for the 6'6" guy that's tough. You're looking for players that can move the puck and can carry the puck out of the zone, that are quick in transition and really mobile. And that's what he's been getting, and I think it's going to pay off.
Well, I think that covers everything that we were going to talk about in tonight's episode. So I'd like to remind everybody who's watching to go to recruits.ca, subscribe, and then you'll get this and much more content covering the Laval Rocket, the Montreal Canadiens, and the draft that's going to be coming up in 2021. Also, be sure to click subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss anything on YouTube with recruits.ca. So again, thank you for watching, and Grant, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.